all the way to the downtown area, got on the northbound 5, and continued on the northbound 5 to where we're seeing us right now. We're just on the coming into the Sylmar area. We're coming up on the 118 right there. Again, we have a little bit of weather, so it makes it a little difficult to get those really tight shots that we like to see with the on the driver's side, where we can try to get a glance at the woman driving. But you can see she's driving basically freeway speed. She looks like she's going to be taking the 118. It's pretty much confirmed the 118. We're going to see if she's going to be doing a east or west on the 118. It looks like she's going to be, yes, she looks like she's going to be setting up for the. Technically, it's the East 118. That would be actually a little bit north. It's going to take you to the 210, but because it's a very short piece of freeway right here that basically dead ends into the 210. And again, this would jive with the earlier information that we understand that this woman lives in Montebello. Actually, the car belongs to a home in Montebello. So again, maybe she'll be taking the 210 eastbound. She's on the transition right now. Officers have been very kind to her. This is about the best way to explain this. They've obviously been in pursuit. They've stayed behind her at all times, occasionally coming up next to her. They've been using their spotlight to light her up, to just get her attention, tell her just to pull over. Again, at this time, it's a failure to yield, obviously, but, she hasn't, the crime really is just driving without your headlights and now failure to yield. So, obviously, the list of crimes are just getting more and more and more by her not yielding. But you can see there she is slowing down now all of a sudden. Possibly there might be something wrong with the vehicle, or maybe she's hearing what's going on. We are just on the 118, just north of the 5 freeway, and you can see it right there. She's rolling to a stop, so possibly this is going to be coming to an end here in the Pacoima-Sylmar area.
Yeah, it looks like they've got her pulled over now. She appears to be stopping. She's almost... Let's see if she comes to a complete stop. That's what we got to wait and see.
Oh yeah, definitely. They are not going to make any kind of move on her until she comes to a complete stop, just because of the erratic behavior of her not stopping, never turning on her lights, and etc. So again, just rolling along here. You can see it looks like she's sticking her head out the window or something, or possibly her hands.
Oh, yeah. Trying to
again, we'd like to get
officers.
a little bit tighter if we could.
Yeah, she might be trying to. She's definitely not going to stop, though. Now she's going about 2 miles an hour, but she's not coming to a complete stop. And we had heard that she was making erratic moves earlier, moving onto the shoulders. Now she's behind the sign. Okay, we're going to get her back. Here she is.
Yeah, I think she's sticking her head out the window, trying to talk to the police officers there. Not sure whether she's going to stop. She just keeps to be she seems to be just rolling on. How many officers are on the scene right now, right behind her?
Well, we can take a look at all together here. It's about 4 or 5, possibly 6. The one in the back there is basically just holding traffic right now. The one of those is a supervisor. That seems to be very important, especially in the Los Angeles area right now with any kind of pursuit. They always make sure there's a supervisor on scene that's like basically having the boss there to make sure that nothing illegal or nothing wrongful happens during a pursuit. But again, just rolling along here, you have to wonder, maybe maybe the car is not even running anymore.
Right.
Maybe she's just rolling. This is an off-ramp. Yeah. But again, she needs to pull over. This needs to come to that. There's the brake lights, and now they're going to position their vehicles hopefully in a way where she cannot depart, and they're going to approach the vehicle. You can see officers being very cautious, not jumping out of their cars because possibly she could just take off one more time.
Well, again, our officers would be giving the driver specific instructions with regards to making sure that her vehicle is turned off and that the keys are out of the vehicle. They're going to give them instructions on how to exit the vehicle, obviously keeping, again, in mind their own safety and the possibility that there may be other occupants in the vehicle.
Okay. This looks like a guy. Sergeant Jocelyn,
that's a man.
That's a man right there.
Yes, it certainly does look like a male driver.
Okay.
The door's shut. It looks like this is about to come to an end right now. Police should move in, I think, here. Are they going to ask him to lay on the ground?
They will give this driver a series of instructions, yes, and ultimately we ideally would like to get them down on the ground and so that we can, again, take them into custody safely.
It looks like he's about to start walking backwards, maybe a little closer away from the car so that he can't just jump back in. Does that sound about right, Sergeant?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, let's see what he does. He still hasn't begun to walk backwards. He's still just standing there. He took a couple steps back, but now he's just got his hands up. I suppose he's still listening to instructions. There's probably a great deal that they want to say to him before they walk towards.
Sergeant Jocelyn, this car was registered to a home in Montebello. Do we know whether the driver actually lives there?
I do not have that information. Do not know at this time.
What kinds of things are police saying to him right now? What's in a typical pursuit? What would they be telling him at this point? Are they making sure he doesn't have any weapons on him? What's going on?
Yes. Again, they're going to give him a series of instructions the entire time, taking again into mind, officer safety. Where, we want to ensure that, that the individual does not have any weapons on them, and so they will give the driver a series of instructions, and eventually, like you've already stated, have him move closer back towards the patrol vehicles, and again, hopefully take him into custody safely.
It looks like he's walking back now.
Yeah.
And it appears he's also alone in the car. There's nobody else that's gotten out, so he was driving alone.
Okay. He's wincing because I believe the lights are quite bright for him. So, and probably listening to the officers on the ground as they're speaking to him, and obviously we can't hear what they're saying. But Stu, give us an idea of what's happening from your perspective.
Well, it was shocking to see that this was a guy. They were very clear earlier on that that they believed that this was a female. Perhaps that was the reason why that car was pulling up next to it, shining the spotlight in there, was maybe to double check on that. But you can see it right there. This obviously is a male driver. He was the only occupant in the vehicle. He has come out. He seems to be complying with the officers the best he can. Obviously, there's always some kind of reason why they can't, but they're probably telling him to lay down on the ground, as you just mentioned a little bit earlier. He's making that effort right now. Now, all the officers have the off-ramp and all of the 118 shut down right now until this suspect is in compliance and possibly handcuffed. There's a little bit of a backup right now. That'll go away very quickly, especially this time of night. But this is all happening here at the 118 freeway at San Fernando. We're in the Sylmar-Pacoima area right near the border. Now you can see officers are making their move right now. They're going to be coming up to him. He's in a pretty peculiar spot. I'm sure officers don't want him there to cuff him because they can't get to his back. There's a little bit of resistance there.
Yeah.
They're going to roll him over and then hopefully it's just why don't they comply? And obviously they're going to have to get him to roll over. They're going to get his hands behind his back and cuff him.
Yeah, Sergeant Jocelyn, it appears that was he resisting arrest? It almost seemed like he had something in his hand. If you were paying attention there, did you see that?
It's a good view here, but it does appear that he wasn't quite following some of the commands that the officers were giving him, and again, the officers are going to do what they need to effectuate the arrest and hopefully do so. So that they can ensure their own safety and that of the suspect as well.
It seemed like he may be intoxicated. He was not moving very smooth throughout the process of them trying to get him on the ground. He kind of leaned down and then...
He's kind of wobbling.
Yeah, wobbly a little bit. He may be intoxicated.
Agreed. It definitely looked like he wasn't following instructions. And, again, we never know, when we go to stop a vehicle, what we have on our hands. It is quite possible that he may be under the influence of something. And so,
it looks like they've managed to cuff him, and they will shortly probably pick him up and just put him into the squad car.